Again for part 2 of a Mailchimp video run through. So in part 1 we looked at the front dashboard, which is where we are here. We looked at campaigns and how to create a new campaign. We looked at, and there were a bunch of templates in there which we looked at. We looked at lists and how to create various different lists. I don't think we really looked at reports, which you can do if you want to look at individual reports for behavior and things. But that's, that's fairly straightforward, I think, in terms of what you have. What we didn't look at, and what we want to look at now, is automation. So what you want, what you want all of the time, is when someone joins your list, whichever list it may be that they're joining, that they get an email from you welcoming you to the list. And for an author newsletter, that's really important. So how do you make that happen automatically? Because you certainly don't want to be doing it manually, especially once you're into something like integrating with Insta-Freebie or other methods where you're suddenly getting 100, up to 100, maybe even more than that sometimes, of new subscribers in a day. To be manually doing that would be a pain in the neck. So what you want to do is to be automating that sequence, and that's where this automation sequence comes in. And you can see that I have two automation sequences here. One is for people who join my newsletter organically. So that's this first one. So these would be people who have maybe read my book first, and then at the end of the book they've seen the sign up for my newsletter, or they've gone to the website and clicked on the sign up subscribe button there, or some way where they've discovered me, and then after discovering me they've said, oh, actually I want to sign up to your newsletter. So this is one group of people. And then the next group of people are those who are coming across specifically from Insta-Freebie. So if I had a third area, so if I was trying to get subscribers through Facebook ads, for example, I would create a third separate group there. But I have these two here, and I'll show you why I have them different in a minute. Now, when I first set up my automation, however long ago that was now, I had a single email that was sent out to people, which just said, hey, welcome to my mailing list. Thanks so much. Here's some stuff you get, some exclusive areas on my website where you get more information about my writing and some of the background. And a bit later I added a free short story that I would send people to. They could pick up if they wanted to. And I'd put all of that information, it's kind of like an info dump really, in the one email that went out to people. And actually that, I don't think that really achieved anything much, to be honest. So it was too much information, and actually for especially once I got into the realms of signing people up through Insta-Freebie, it just wasn't enough to engage them. So I've looked at various different recommendations, and I now have automation sequences, which I'll use for a couple of different purposes. So one of the things I don't want to forget saying, I mentioned last time that when you set up one of these lists, you don't want to tick the box that says you want to be told when someone unsubscribes, and that's really important, because when you go onto these lists, let's go onto this list, and we pick one. Let's pick this one. Okay. Oh no, that's not what I want, is it? Okay, let's try this one. No, I don't know. Sorry, there is somewhere in here. I've lost it. That just shows you, I guess. But if I'd managed to find this, which I should have been able to do, you would have seen might even be somewhere here, I guess. I don't know. You would have seen that I get unsubscribes, a few unsubscribes every day. And if I'm signing up, 100 people in a day from InstaFreebie, there's a number of those people who didn't really want to sign up to my list in the first place. And as soon as they get the first welcome email, they're going to unsubscribe, and they were never going to be part of my list. And you know what? It is really, really depressing if you say get 100 people sign up and maybe 10 of those unsubscribe. It's really depressing to get 10 emails in the day just reminding you someone has unsubscribed from your list, someone has unsubscribed from your list. So just don't tick that box, because it's too depressing to tick the box. And it doesn't matter if 10 people unsubscribe. I'm delighted if 10 people unsubscribe, because it means 10 fewer people who I'm paying to have on my lists, who were never really interested in the first place. So take that approach and don't be worried about unsubscribes at all. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's look at my 2 automation sequences. So this is the first one. So this is for those who organically sign up, those who find my writing, and then having found it, they decide to sign up to my mailing list. And you can see, this is fairly new that I've put in, which is why when you get down here, I've got none on there. I have a series of 4 emails which I send people. So the first email, in fact, is this no, this is the second email. I'm not doing very well here, am I? So the first email just says, thanks for joining my my mailing list, and you can get a copy of my free short story by tapping here. And that's about all I say. I'll say that I will be sending some more emails over the next couple of weeks, and the next one will be about a week from now. And you can see that this one is triggered, this email is triggered immediately after subscribers join the list. So as soon as their email address hits my Mailchimp account, this welcome email will go out. So there's no delay at all. And that's quite important. So leave it at that. And then I have about a week later, or exactly a week later, I have the second email which goes out, and it just reminds people about Mistress of Snow and Ice if they haven't read it yet. And then I give them a link and the password to access a portion of my website where they get kind of some behind the scenes chapters about different elements, and I give them a sample of that here. So here my one of the chapters talking about chapter 1, and I talk about some of the symbolism that I've used within that chapter. And if they're interested in that sort of thing, then they can go to the website and they've got the password to log in and get more information. And that's all I send them in the second email. So in the third email, which is much later, so it's another 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks after they've received this second email, so 3 weeks after they've received the first welcome email, they get this one, which just says, I hope you had a chance to read one of the stories, and I hope you enjoyed it, and it'd be brilliant if you'd leave a review. And that's all it says. It's got links for people to leave a review for Dreams and Shadows, or Mistress of Snow and Ice, which is the short story, and that's all it says. And then just 3 days later, I have the final email in the sequence, which just says, hi again, thanks, it'd be fabulous if you give me some feedback. This is the final welcome email you've received. If you could do some feedback, that'd be brilliant. And then it links to a survey. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that. I think most authors don't do surveys. I did one just the other week and found it absolutely brilliant. So I have a couple of surveys here which are slightly different for each list. And that is all I have. So I have that 4 sequence, which covers about 3.5 weeks. If I wanted to add another one, I could just click on here, and you can see another one has popped up. And I can say, okay, so automatically it's doing 1 day after subscribers have sent the previous one, but I can change that and I can make it days or hours or weeks, and I can put in whatever I like, and then when I can design the email, and I just click on there. There we go. So I put whatever I want in there. Click on next. Oh, it wants me to input. It's exactly the same as creating your first newsletter that I showed you how to do. It's just an email that goes out. I won't go through all of the process of this now. So if I go back to workflow, come on, turn to workflow, please. Oh no, it's not going. It's refusing. Oh no, there we go. Wait about this one. Okay. ... There we go. I don't really want to carry on with that, so I shall go out of there and I'll come back in. But you'll see when I go back into that email list that it's appeared there. So I don't want to do anything with it. Once you've designed it, it'll say, do you want to go? And press live and say, yes, okay, I want to go with that. I don't want it. I'm going to delete it. Yes, I'm sure. So that's gone. And you can see up the side here that you have a chance to edit these. So anytime you think, oh, actually, I just want to change that, you just click pause and edit. You go into the email to edit it. There we go. You can do whatever you like with editing it. I don't actually want to edit it, so I'll go back. I was going to carry on there. Okay, so it's back here. We're paused, and all I need to do to get it going again is to click the little arrow there and click on resume, and that's going again. So so that's the first one. The second one, which I use for Insta Freebie signups, is this one. And this one used to be the one and only welcome email I sent. I've just changed it and added some more afterwards, which is why you can see it's been sent to over 1,800 subscribers, because that goes back to pretty much everyone. It's only in the last couple of weeks I've changed it to have this workflow. So you can see for each of these, you can see what the open rate and click rate is. Now, at the moment, because everyone hasn't been through the system, I don't know how useful that is. These numbers continue to go up as I look at them each time, which is probably about right. So I have various different emails. And really the biggest change is I have the first one they receive is a different email to the one that others have received. So the other group, you remember the first email was, here's my short story, Mistress of Snow and Ice. So go and grab a copy if you like. This one isn't. This one, because it's come from Insta Freebie, and there are occasions, known occasions, where people have some trouble getting the copy of their ebook from Insta Freebie. Some difficulty getting it onto their devices. So what I have is I have another link. So I have here, if you haven't, and actually the purpose of this is twofold. One, it's to say, look, if you weren't able to get that link, get that download, here's a link for somewhere else, and I use BookFunnel, which maybe I can show you on another occasion, but you don't have to. You don't have to do this at all. It's just something that I do, and so people can go and get a copy. But I also use this not just to say, look, if you've had trouble getting it, get hold of it. Probably more importantly is this second bit, and you know, there is a real one of the real challenges with this Insta Freebie is when people pick up free books, they often pick up loads of free books from all sorts of different places, and their to read list just gets longer and longer and longer, and most of the books on there they'll never read, and I don't want my book to end up as a book they'll never read. I want them to read it, and because I'm giving away half a book, Dreams and Shadows, I want them to get to the end of that half, and I want them to then go ahead and buy the book, and then I want them to buy the second book in the series as well. And they're not going to do that if they don't start reading it in the first place. So I actually say, look, you'll have a load of books on your list, and what I would like is for Dreams and Shadows to move up that list, maybe even be the very next book you read. So I include a short quote from the first chapter, which is kind of one of the sort of more literary couple of sentences that I've got within that. The first chapter, you may remember I said loads of symbolism, so this is all symbolic as well, but it gives people a brief sample, and then I have an excerpt from chapter 1, so people can read through chapter 1, and I just say here at the top here, if you enjoy it, then you'll definitely enjoy the rest of the book, and hopefully that is enough for them to go ahead and read it. If not, well, the series probably isn't for you, and I'm not sure how interesting the newsletter will be, but thanks for giving it a try. And that's my first email, and after that first email, the others are the same. So you'll notice when I go into the second one, it's Get Mistress of Snow and Ice. When I go on to the third one, it's here's your password to get access to the behind the scenes and a sample of that, and so on and so on. The only other difference, and it's not visible because all of the wording is exactly the same, but the only other difference is this takes them to a slightly different survey. So the two surveys I have people complete, this one has a question about how they heard about my book on Instafreebie, so I want to know where they heard about that. For the people who signed up organically, it's a different question, just about how they heard about my book. Otherwise, the two surveys are exactly the same. But you can do that. You can segment your lists if you want to, and send them different things. So I've got these two different lists which I use in that way, and that is automation. So and what I do now. There is one more thing I wanted to say about automation and one of the values of those. So if I go back in here and I click on the one that's had more people sign up to it, which is the one from Instafreebie. I don't know what my open rate is over the last 2 or 3 weeks when I changed this workflow, but let's assume it's about the same. And you can see that there are fewer people. There's 330 people who have been sent the second email. And that's because 330 of these people will be the new sign-up since I put my list to 0. So they have all had this first email, and now 2 days later they've received the second email, all but 11 of them. So we've got 11 people in the queue, but the other 319 have all received this. And of those 319, so far 50% have opened and 38% have clicked for the free book. So that's great. And then I go on and we can see that 155, this must be, there's 155 people have received this email. There's 169 in the queue. So those 11 must be in addition to the 330. And of those 155 who have received it, so far we have a 37% open rate and a 15% click rate. Wouldn't necessarily expect I would expect the click rate to be lower because they're not clicking on something to get something free. This is really if they're interested in behind the scenes, and a lot of people probably won't be. But for those who are, they're clicking on it and they're having a look, and that's great as well. So far, no one has received this next email. They haven't got to the 14 days after receiving this one yet. So they're in the queue. I have 146 people currently in the queue to receive that. And what that probably suggests, because above I'd said 155 people had been sent this email, and then there's only 146 in the queue here. The difference of 9, those 9 people probably unsubscribed, which is fine. So you can see that number going down. And what eventually this will tell me is people who've been through have received all 5 emails. There'll be some of those people who haven't opened any of them. None at all. And if they haven't opened any of them, then that suggests to me there's either something wrong and they're not getting the emails, or they're just not interested. So what I will then do is I will split those people out, and I will send them a specific email saying, look, you haven't opened any of the other emails. I'm assuming that means you're not really interested in joining the list. So unless you let me know otherwise, I'm going to remove you from the list. So I'll do that, and that will be a way to, again, whittle out the people who really don't want to be on my mailing list, and that should give me a more engaged mailing list when I move them across to MailerLite. So that's what I wanted to say about automation. I hope these 2 videos have been really helpful. And if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything else which you would really like a video about, then just let me know and I will happily do one for you. So that's all for now, and I'll see you later.